the same match distance apart. Hands come behind you, drop your knees over to your right. Let the left knee pull forward so your back stretches out a little bit. Inhale, back up. Exhale, right knee pulls down and forward so your back stretches. And do that a few times, from side to side. Yeah. Keep your feet quite wide, keep your feet parallel to get a little bit more out of it. Good. Last one. And come back to your right side. Take both hands behind you. Come onto the fingertips. Lift yourself up nice and tall. Reach through crown. Pull the navel in and twist. Take a few breaths here. So keep pushing away from the floor. Keep lengthening up through the crown and then twisting. And just noticing how the stomach muscles are stretching, noticing how the chest is stretching. And then slowly release. Switch, the knees come to the other side. Hands come behind you, fingertips, push the floor away and lengthen up and out. Take a few breaths. Another breath, and return forward. Good. Go ahead and take the blanket out to the side. Come into a tabletop position, knees under your hips, and wrists into your shoulders. Push the floor away, let the shoulder blades slide apart, round your back, drop your head down and curl the tail under, lifting the navel into the spine. As you inhale, reach forward. Pull the tail back, stretching through the belly, through the chest. Exhale, round into the cat. Inhale, stretch into the cow. Actually, pull the tail back so you feel the stretch through the belly and chest. And a couple more times. Use the floor, push the floor away, both when you round and when you stretch. When you stretch, pull the floor towards your knees to deepen the stretch. Last couple. Good. And come back to neutral. Lean your hips to the right as much as you can. Really press to the right. Feel the hip stretching. And only then pull back to the left and forward. Big circle. Big circle with your hips. Nice deep breath. Stretch out the back here. Stretch out the hips. Use your breath to move. Keep your knees quite wide apart so they can give you a solid base there. Good. And then just pause and reverse the direction. And another breath. Come back to neutral and step your left leg through. If you have blocks, you can grab blocks under your hands. If not, fingertips. Make sure you're stepping quite wide, so maybe scoot the right knee over to the right and lean forward. Take a few breaths, just letting the right hip drop. Down, 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 down. Hip flexors stretching and breathe. Notice where you're gripping, where you're resisting. Can you let go a bit more? Gravity will do the work for you, but you need to actually let go. Nice deep breath. Let the hips sink, sink, sink. Another breath. And then flex your left foot, draw your tail up and back, bow towards the knee. Keep moving with your breath. Inhale, come forward. Let the hip drop. Exhale, draw the tail up and back. Tilt the tail up. You'll feel a big difference if you do. Inhale, come forward. And exhale back. Now pulse at your own pace. Let your breath guide you. And just pay attention how the body is feeling. And last one. Next time you come back, draw your tail up and back, bow towards the knee, and just stay here for a couple breaths. Keep drawing the tail up and back. Just even having that thought without too much engagement there will give you a very big difference in sensation. Keep tilting, tail up and back, up and back. And then shift forward. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, turn the palms down and roll back. Inhale your arms up. Interlace the fingers. Grab the base of the skull in your hand. Draw the tail down, squeeze hip points towards the front, towards your belly button. Keep squeezing hip points towards your belly button, and inhale, lift the chest up. Dropping the head back a little bit is a natural consequence, but it's not about bending in your back, it's about lifting the chest up. Your upper back should create a little bit of a curve there, but not the lower back. Another breath. And as you exhale, hands come down and switch the legs. Right leg comes through into a lunge. And again, lean forward, breathe. Just let yourself sink here. Notice if you adjust a little bit, maybe relax a little bit, can you actually sink a little bit deeper? Can you let go a little bit more? It's not about trying very hard here, it's about letting go. Trying to let go just as hard as you work. A couple breaths. And flex your foot, bow towards the knee, start pulsing. Inhale, you come forward. Exhale, you bow to your knee. Few more breaths. And next time you draw your hips up and back, bow towards the knee and stay here for a few breaths. Keep tilting the tail up and back and sinking a little more towards that knee. And shift forward, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Like you want to pull the floor towards your back knee, and back knee is pulling the floor towards your front heel. And reach your arms up. Roll the arms back just once. And inhale up. And this time take your hands onto the hips, so right below your lower back, the hip bones, the pointy, bony parts there. Draw the tail down. Squeeze the hips towards the belly button. Keep pressing down and lift your heart more. Lift your heart a little bit more. See how you can actually get steadier by pressing the hips straight down towards the floor. Core should stay very engaged, so lower back is not overarching. The core is very engaged, but try to lift. Imagine something, a string attached to your heart, and it's lifting you up towards the sky. Another breath. And as you exhale, release. Hands come to the floor, step back into a plank, and lower to the ground. I'm going to take a couple modified cobras. So Hands under the shoulders, untuck your toes, press the tops of the feet to the ground. As you press the tops of the feet to the ground, knees lift. Draw the tail down, belly button lift. Now take the hands off your mat. Bring them to the fingertips and pull the fingertips towards each other until the knuckles pop up. Yep. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, down your back. Remember to pull the hips down into the floor as you lift up. And as you exhale, reach forward and lower. We'll repeat twice more. On your own breath, inhale, lift up. Press the tops of the feet, press the hips. And exhale, lower down, nice and slow. One more time, lift. Use your upper back muscles. The more you use upper back muscles, more you actually release the back, surprisingly. Take the hands right under your shoulders, tuck your toes under, and down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk it out now. Pressing one heel towards the ground, the opposite knee bend, and then switching to the other side. Nice and slow, kind of squeezing that heel down, 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 a little deeper, all the way to the bottom of the breath. Pushing with your hands away from your mat, so you apply a little bit more pressure. And then tiny steps, walk to your hands. Bring your feet about hips distance apart, parallel to each other. And grab the opposite elbows, drop your head fully, and just hang for a few moments. Let your jaw relax. Let your elbows get very heavy with the weight of your hands gently pulling on them. Shoulders relax, upper back will feel a little full. Just nice deep breath. Make sure you relax all the facial muscles. Then drop your arms down. Inhale into a flat spine, lengthen through crown and through tail. Draw the tail back. As you exhale, fold lower than before. As you inhale, push the floor away, draw the heels apart, and come all the way up. Look up, your hands join overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Grab hold of your left wrist. Pull it as tall as you possibly can, and as you exhale, reach over. Inhale, back up, and exhale over. One more time, inhale, up. Keep switching the wrist, exhale over. Inhale, up, and exhale over. Inhale, up, reach a little taller. As you exhale, sit back into a chair pose. And inhale, reach back up. As you exhale, sit back into chair pose. Push the floor away and draw the navel in as you come up. And last one, push, sit a little deeper and then push the floor away. Use your glutes. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Hands to the floor and step into a plank. One more time, lower all the way to the ground. Hands under the shoulders and then slide them off to the side. Back to your fingertips, pull the fingers towards each other. Elbows face straight away from the body. Feet press, hips press, and inhale, pull the chest forward up, and your upper back muscles work. Exhale, lower. One more time, lift up. Stay here for a breath. Next time you exhale, very slowly, let your left shoulder move forward, look over your right. Inhale, come back to center. Let your right shoulder come forward, look over your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, lower down and press this time into child's pose. Take a few breaths in child's pose, arms straight ahead of you. Let the forehead rest. Let the hips be heavy. Just a few breaths. Then from child's pose, slide forward again onto your belly, coming into true cobra pose. So hands under the shoulders. Fingers spread wide, hands under the shoulders, same prep, and I really want you to use the same dynamic as we did before in a modified version. Press the tops of the feet, press the hips. Inhale, lift using your upper back muscles. That way your shoulders don't come up to your ears. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, lift, 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 lift. Exhale, lower, down dog. Tuck your toes under, walk out that dog. Bending one knee and the other. Really drawing the heels towards the ground. Head is dropped heavy. Do not hold any tension in your neck or head. Let the head just drop. Like it's not even attached to your shoulders. Inhale, your right leg reaches up into three-legged dog. As it does, see if your left heel can draw down. So you're stretching the left a little bit. Right heel drops over to the opposite ear. Lift the knee a little higher. Even out the shoulders. Straighten the legs. With that foot, step on the outside of the right hand. So we're coming into lever's modification. To really stretch out the hips. Push the floor away. Press through the back heel. Squeeze inner thighs a little bit. Lift the chest a little higher. Come up as high as it's comfortable. If this is too much, you always can drop the back knee down. If you can handle it with the back knee off the ground, stay here, back knee off the ground. And just take a few breaths. If you really like it and you feel nothing here, then you can definitely lower into your elbows, but we're not staying here too long, so just see what works. Another breath. And then shoot that leg back up. Right leg back up. Exhale, bring it through. Single track. Back heel rotates down. The toes of the right foot face straight forward. Bend the front knee and windmill into warrior two. Front knee right over the front ankle. Right toes face forward. Good. Settle a little deeper. And see if you can draw your left hip back a little bit. Good. Now think of those hip bones. Remember those hip bones? Try to tie them to your belly again. Try to tie the hip bones to your belly. That will create a lot of core engagement. Now try to lift out of that with your chest. Can you breathe still? That's a little test. Now reach forward as far as you can. Lower either your elbow to your thigh or maybe reaching straight for the floor. Left arm reaches where ceiling meets the wall. Stretching through fingertips. Breathe. Nice deep breath. We're going to flow here. Modify your flow as you wish. Inhale, come up and back. Keep front knee over front ankle. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, forward, extended angle. And last one, inhale, dancing warrior. Windmill down, both hands on the floor. Your choice of vinyasa. Flow at your own pace, lower down with exhale. Inhale, up dog, cobra, whatever works. Exhale, down dog, walk it out. Left leg up into three-legged dog. Again, draw the right heel down as you do that. And then drop the left heel over to the right ear. Lift the knee a little higher. Try to, even if it's like quarter of an inch, still lift the knee higher. Good, another breath. Push the floor away a little bit more. And then re-straighten that leg. And bring the foot on the outside of the left hand. Coming into variation on lizard. Both hands on the instep. Push through the back heel. If you can, keep the back knee off the ground. But at the same time, push through the back heel. Yes, keep the back knee off the ground, so back leg is very engaged. But try to pull chest forward. Can you pull chest forward more? That will lower your hips, even though you're trying to keep them up using the leg muscles, right? And that's where it becomes fun. Yeah, where it becomes interesting. Again, if you want come onto your elbows, if you really feel nothing there, then do, but we're not staying here for too long. Another breath, keep pressing through that heel. Working with the hips, working with the back. If you're on finger taps, great. Now come back into your hands, shoot that leg back up. And as you exhale, bring it through right between your hands, coming into warrior two. Back heel rotate. Good. So now left toe stays forward. Try to draw the right hip back as much as is possible without letting the left knee tilt forward. Arms out into warrior. Settle a little deeper than you think you should. Challenge yourself a little bit. We get stuck in our habit. Reach forward, keep length, lower down, either all the way down or elbow to side. Reach your right arm where ceiling meets the wall, fingers long. Take a few breaths, actively push through outer edge of the back foot, and keep the front knee exactly where it is as you start flowing. Inhale, reach up and back. And exhale forward. Good, keep going. Inhale and exhale. Your own pace. You don't have to listen to me, listen to your own breath. Good. And next time you come forward, come all the way down into a plank, move through a vinyasa. Nice deep breath. Couple presses here in down dog, just walking that dog. Good. Lower the knees down and come into child's pose. This time take the arms alongside the body if that's comfortable, with palms facing up, letting the forehead land on the floor, letting the hips get heavy. Good. Okay, now bring your right hand on the fingertips right next to your head and slide your left arm under over to your right side with the right palm facing up. So we're coming into a twist. Yep, your right hand. So we're coming here, but we allow the hips to sink back. So you can stay lifted, and especially if you can keep your right hand on the floor, fingertips, maybe you even push away from the floor to create a little more twist and scoot your left shoulder a little bit more to your right. And take a few breaths there. So pushing away from the floor with the right will create more twist. And then release and switch. Again, hips are heavy towards the floor. Now the left hand can help you get deeper if that's something that you're looking for. Then slowly bring yourself out. Come through tabletop and then swing the legs over to the side and come onto your seat. You can use your blanket if you choose so or not, up to you. Gonna play a little bit with the boat, with upward facing boat. Okay? So come into a cross-legged, your left in front of your right. Left in front of your right. Now again, remember hip bones, pull them forward. Think like you're tying them together at your belly button. Right away you'll feel that deep engagement of the deep muscles, right? I want you to keep that throughout. That should not relax. Now squeeze the ankles, push them against each other, then squeeze the knees towards each other and lean back. You can take your hands back if you choose so, or you can reach them forward. Now keep squeezing the ankles, keep squeezing the knees against each other, keep squeezing the hip bones towards your navel, and breathe too. Nice deep breath. Now you don't have to work very hard in your shoulders and neck, right? I see some veins popping there. That's not where we're working hard. Another breath. Now as you inhale, reach up and lower your legs down. As you exhale, go ahead and turn to your left. And take a few breaths deepening here. So play with it a little bit. As you inhale, you lengthen up, and then as you exhale, you try to press a little bit deeper. Let it be a little bit of back and forth here. And slowly release. Good job. Switch the legs. Right in front of left. Press the ankles against each other. Scoot the hip bones forward. Tie them at your belly button. Keep squeezing ankles against each other. Lean back. Squeeze the knees against each other. Let the shins become parallel to the floor. And breathe. And maybe smile. Because otherwise you're going to squeeze your teeth, right? So smile instead. Nice deep breath here. If you're shaking a little bit, that's totally fine. And adjust with your hands where you are, but stay. Just let yourself stay here. No matter how much you want to get out, stay. Another breath. Inhale, back up. And exhale, turn to your right. Take a few breaths, deepening here. Again, pause. A little bit out of the posture and then go a little deeper. Use your breath. And then slowly release. Well done. You can take the blanket over to the side. You sit in one and lie down on your back. Bend your knees. Bring your feet as wide as your mat. And then walk your heels as close to your hips as you can. So up your mat, not necessarily close to you. Yeah, so you're still staying wide as your mat. Yeah, but you walk them as close as you can. Now try to slowly do windshield wipers. Knees over to one side, trying to get both knees to the ground, and then to the other side. So we're doing the windshield wipers, except we forced our heels to come a little bit closer, so you're really getting into the quad stretch, right? So from side to side at your own pace, maybe staying in one position for a little while before switching to the other one. Really getting into the quad and lower back. Good. Now drop your knees over to your right, so we're all on the same side. Now stay here. If this is enough stretch, stay here. If you want a little bit more and that's not quite enough, see if with your left hand you can grab hold of the left ankle without lifting the left knee up. That's the secret. Don't lift the left knee up. You shouldn't feel this in your left knee at all. You should feel it in your quad, yes, but not in your left knee. And then try to get that left knee to lower down while you're pulling the heel towards your body. Is everyone feeling the quad? Yeah? Good. Just breathe. See if you can relax a little bit, right? We tend to tense up when we feel in some way endangered, if you will. Either it is in our head or physical sensation, something that is unfamiliar. We tend to tense up, natural reaction of the body. So see if you can catch that and relax into it a little bit more. And go ahead and slowly release that foot and just drop the knees over to the other side. Again, try to keep the heels as high as you can. That will help you add depth to the posture. Drop the knees. Take a few moments to just let both knees sink first, down, 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 down. And then go ahead and see if you can, if you want to, grab that right ankle and pull it in a little closer. Nice deep breath. Your back should feel all right here, shouldn't be hurting you. Your knee shouldn't be hurting you. Your quad might be screaming, but that's totally fine. Just breathe. Again, where in that right thigh, maybe a right glute, maybe somewhere around the knee, where are you tightening up? Can you soften that a little bit so you can go a little deeper? And just breathe into the stretch. Oftentimes when we notice our lower back getting tight, oftentimes it has to do with the quads. So we want to make sure that we address those and give them a nice little stretch and workout so back feels better as well. Okay, another breath here, and then slowly bring yourself out. We're going to prepare for a bridge pose. So again, if you have a block, I do love that restorative bridge variation. So if you have a block, I'll give you a chance to do it when we come to bridge pose second time around. So have it handy. If not, no worries, you can just stay with the first variation. So feet as wide as your hips, and make sure they parallel. Your toes should not be facing out to two different sides. Feet shouldn't be together either. Inner thighs pulling towards each other and pulling your knees forward, but they are not together. As you inhale, lift your hips up, and with your feet, pull the ground towards your shoulder blades. With your feet, think of this. Pull the ground towards your shoulder blades to activate a little bit the back muscles. And as you exhale, slowly lower down, we'll pause. Imagine you're squeezing the block between your inner thighs and lift up. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, lift up a little higher, let the chest join, and exhale, lower. 3 more, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, stay here, breathe. Let the belly move easy with the breath. Press into the floor with your feet and with your hands. Let the chest lift up a little bit. Take the back of the head and keep it on the ground. Don't let your chin come to your chest, even though chest is moving to your chin. Lift the hips a little higher, and even though legs are getting very tired right now, just stay here. Just breathe into this sensation of you can find the comfort here. Even in this very uncomfortable space where you want to come out, can you just stick around for a moment? Can you let go of the need to get out of discomfort? Because generally when we get to this point of discomfort, that's our edge, that's where the learning happens, that's where growth happens. So if you back out of this space every time, it's very hard to find that growth, the expansion. Another breath, you got this. And lower down. Beautiful job. Hug your knees into your chest and just rock a little bit, massage that back, it deserves it. Okay. So as I promised, second time around, we're going to go into restorative bridge if you have that block or anything. If you're at home and you can fold some blankets, use blankets, even cushions for that are not super soft can serve the purpose here as well. If not, you can just come back to holding the bridge or pulsing in and out of the bridge. So, coming into bridge prep, lift your hips up, put the block right under your sacrum in a comfortable position. Generally, lowest position for most people is the most comfortable. So, tail is heavy. You're welcome to stay here. Take a few breaths and let your tail sink like there is a big boulder attached to your tail and it's pulling it down. Let that happen. All right, good. And if you want a little bit more, you can start sending your legs up towards the ceiling. Maybe just knees stack over the hips, or maybe legs come up. However, keep your tail down. The tail gonna want to roll up right away, and then before you know it, your feet are over your face, right? So we want to keep the weight over the hips and tail rolling down, so we encourage that natural curve in the lower spine, and we breathe. Just breathe. One of the things that I miss the most in teaching in this changed space where we don't really have too many people in class, or I'm not sure what conditions you guys have there at home, is legs up the wall. It's like one of my favorite postures to do myself, and I think it's so restorative and so amazing. So if you finish the practice today and you feel like putting those legs up the wall wherever you are, it's an amazing, amazing posture with so many benefits. So we're basically in that posture right now, except, you know, we don't have the wall supporting the legs. Just another breath. If your feet are up towards the ceiling, start lowering them back down to the floor. Take a moment, let the hips settle. And then lift your hips just enough to remove the block. Good, kick it to the side, hug the knees. Maybe grab the knees with your hands and do circles with your knees, massaging around the sacral area. So rolling the knees in a big circle, massaging around the sacrum. Then go ahead and just roll over to the side and then roll into your belly. Going back to shoulders now. All right, so we're gonna do this weird little thing. Your right hand gonna support you, so your right hand is on the floor. You're gonna scoot your left arm under with palm facing up, like you did in Child's earlier today, except you're gonna take the other arm and do the same thing onto the other side. Now the fun part, this is not it yet, this is not the fun yet. You're gonna need to kind of come up onto your tippy toes and scoot yourself forward so you can lower your forehead down to the ground and your arms come more under your chest than they are under your throat. So scoot, 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 scoot until you are forward and breathe. Now, if this is way too much for your shoulders, if your shoulders are really tight and this is just way too much, you definitely can do the just the bottom arm. So in this case, your left arm under and your right arm is just resting next to your head. And just see if you can sink a little more into the posture and close the resistance. Let your glutes relax. Another breath. And slowly unwind. Take your time unwinding. Get your arms from under you. All right. And guess what? The other side, right? So right arm slides first. And then left arm, so you have them crossed in front of you. And then scoot yourself forward until your forehead easily lowers down and your arms more under your chest and even maybe towards the lower chest than they are under your neck. So just nice breath here. See if you can let the weight of the body relax. You're not holding yourself up off your arms. On the contrary, you're actually letting the weight press. So it folds you a little deeper. Just a couple more breaths. Letting yourself sink for the last couple breaths. And then slowly unwind and release. Good. So if you're off your mat, go ahead and crawl back onto your mat. Your right leg going to come out to your right side, knee at the height of the hip. Bring the knee in a 90-degree angle. In other words, your heel is not fully leaning towards your hip. The leg stays 90-degree angle. And then take a few moments here to just sink your right hip down into the floor. Let the forehead land on the floor. Let the whole right side kind of sink into the floor. So you feel the lower back starting to release. Maybe your right knee even will slide more to the right. So you want that right hip as sinking down as possible. Relax the glutes. Let the right knee move over to the right side. So this is a wonderful posture, just helping open up the back and hips, half frog. But we're not going to stay here. We're going to just move a little bit further into a twist. So bring your fingertips, right hand on the fingertips. Right hand on the fingertips. Now again, slide that left arm under, palm facing up, the same way we did before. Except this time, guys, make sure you keep the right leg engaged in this shape. So knee stays in a 90-degree angle and at the height of the hip. That way you'll get the most out of the twist. Then slowly start sliding, pushing away until your right shoulder goes towards the floor, all the way towards the floor. Your right shoulder towards the floor. We're coming into a twist. Now, when you're almost there, but not quite, your right shoulder didn't land all the way on the mat, you can press with the right elbow down into the ground and scoot your left shoulder more to the left. Just scoot it over, and that will create deeper twist in the upper body, and see if that helps. If your right shoulder is still struggling, if it's uncomfortable in any way, you can grab hold of the blanket or whatever you have handy and prop that shoulder. Again, it's best to keep working the shoulder down to the ground, towards the ground, but if that's not an option today, then you can always support it a little bit. And take a few breaths. The arms might come in a T or a goddess shape. Or again, if the right shoulder is not very happy with this, the right hand can stay on the right hip. And see if you can relax here. And it's okay if hips start stacking over each other, so don't feel like your knee has to stay exactly where it was on the floor. It might be completely off the ground. It does not have to be on the ground. It just has to stay in that 90-degree shape, but it doesn't have to stay in the same spot on the floor. To see how you can adjust, last few breaths here. Maybe it's kind of hard breathing into the chest. See if you can expand into the spaces that feel a little congested for the breath right now. See if you can soften them and let more breath in there. What would that take? Because you are in control of that, so you can decide. Now the breath. Okay, we'll come out the way we came in. So back onto your belly. Back onto your belly, nice and slow, roll onto your belly. Come back to where you started. Maybe bend your knees and drop your heels from side to side, especially if back is a little tight. And then switching to the other side. So now left knee comes over to your side at the height of the hip, knees in a 90-degree angle. So toes face away from you. And take a few moments here in half frog. Let that left hip sink down. If that means that left knee moves a little more to the left, great. Get your forehead down on the ground. Get your left shoulder down. Get that left side to sink down. Take a couple more breaths here. And you can play with how long you want to stay in each posture. If you feel this posture is more beneficial for you, then stay here for a little longer. It will move into a twist now. So left hand, bring it onto your fingertips. Lift your shoulders just enough to slide the right arm under, palm faces up. And then keep sliding it over to the right. Keep the left knee in a shape it is. But again, it might come off the ground. That's totally fine. And start lowering your left shoulder onto the ground. So you're rolling back, 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 back until the left shoulder touches to the ground. And make adjustments. Scoot that right shoulder under a little bit. If you need to, place something under the left shoulder. Take nice deep breath and let yourself settle into this deep, deep, super deep twist. Marine, keep rolling. Don't be afraid about that foot. Yeah, keep rolling, back, back, back. Keep going, keep going. Let the hips move with you. Don't be afraid. Yeah. Take the hips with you. Correct. Is that okay? So don't be afraid to let that hip kind of fall within where it is. Yeah. It's the whole point is the twist. And your legs will be heavy enough to allow that twist to stay, even if you lower the shoulder. Nice deep breath here. Take a few deeper breaths into the area of the chest that might not feel very open, or maybe into your back. See if you can sink a little bit more. And very, very slowly start unwinding. Take your time, come back into your belly. When you come there, press back into child's pose. Draw your hips all the way to your heels. Come back to child's pose. Let the arms reach forward. Really stretch out the back here now. Really let it stretch out. Heavy with the forehead, heavy with the hips. Notice lower back can expand even more. And then you can come through your cat and cow if you choose so, or anything else that feels good, and start finding your way into Shavasana. So starting to make your way there. If you need any other posture, if you need any other movement, take a few breaths here, maybe rolling the hips in a big circle again, getting out of that tension in the back. We did a lot of twisting, so while they are amazing, that you might feel a little tight in some areas, so stretching those areas out. And then finding your way to Shavasana, final relaxation when you're ready. Allowing your eyes to close and feel them relax back into the eye socket. Let the area around your eyes relax, your eyebrows. Allowing the backs of the teeth part gently so your jaw can relax and throat can soften. The shoulders melt into the ground. The hips and legs get heavy, sink down. Allow even your breath to relax and find its natural pace. Just for a few moments. There's nothing to do, nowhere to be. No need to listen to my voice. Relax, let go, and melt. Gently allow your breath to deepen. Take a few moments just noticing your breath moving through your body. Become aware of sensations your breath is causing. Being keenly aware of all the sensations in the body. Move your fingers, move your toes. Roll to the right side in a fetal position. Rest in your right arm for a moment like a pillow. Just check in with yourself. Just notice what comes up in this moment. And slowly find your way into a seated position. Bring your hands to the heart center. We'll finish with deep breath in. Namaste. Namaste. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have questions,